Hi, my name's Dee and welcome to Sunchild Tarot and welcome to your readings for the full moon in Capricorn, 24th of July. Obviously, these readings are meant to cover the 2 weeks, the 4 weeks, or the 6 and a bit months, or just under 6 months, isn't it? From the full moon in Capricorn back to the new moon in Capricorn, which will be sometime around Christmas. I should have looked that date up before I started. So, as ever, it's a general reading. General reading rules apply. Do not give away your power to a tarot reader. In these readings, there's 2 rows of cards. The top row represents the archons trying to suppress you, and the bottom row represents the gods themselves trying to lift you up, reconnect you with the divine. By their very nature, they are dramatic. So take it all with a pinch of salt and just bear in mind that I can't necessarily be reading for everybody. So there is a timestamp in the description below because I'm going to discuss the full moon itself first. But I've put the timestamp there, so if you want to not ignore my waffle, you can jump ahead to the reading. I won't be offended much. But I would say watch your sun, your moon, and your rising. Now, I'd say the moon because that would normally deal with the emotional stuff, but it's a full moon. It's a lunar reading. Go and look at your moon. Especially with this one, because there's a little something I want to bring up about not just the full moon, but what happens the day before, the day as I am filming this now. Now, as ever, there is a link down there in the description for the Facebook group for this Facebook page for this channel. Basically, it's got an inbox. So if you want to contact me for a personal reading, that's one of the best ways to do it. There's a link tree down there that will take you to all of my different social media, but Facebook's the best way. I am trying to grow the channel, so any subscriptions or pressing of like buttons would be greatly appreciated. And of course, if you haven't caught it, I will be, or well, by the time this goes live, I will have already done a show with astrologer David Fisher, where we're discussing the ins and outs of the full moon in terms of Hellenistic astrology. I've got some other things that I wanted to point out. Now, I am really, really excited about this full moon. I'm sure there was something else housekeeping I had to say. Now it'll come to me. Oh yeah, you can ask a question before you're reading if you want. I don't think it's the sort of reading where you're necessarily going to get an answer, not like my monthlies or some of my other readings. It's just a general look at the forces that are around for you to take advantage of or dodge, whichever way you want to look at it. Right. So this is the first full moon after the eclipse seasons. Now, if I bring my notes up so I can remember what I'm talking about, this is the degree here is ruled by, I always struggle with these, Yael, who is all about letting go and mental force. But the degree angels, which I've not mentioned on these videos before, the degree angels also control a 5-degree arc each. So this 5-degree arc is ruled by Mabahia, who is about putting thought into action, who is about intellectual lucidity. And Yael is about, as I said, letting go, mental force. That puts a lot more context into this full moon, whereas we have been working so very hard to plan and to decide and to find ways to move forward. We've discussed this on the astrology shows with David. We've discussed this in the readings. That's setting your plans up, getting all your ducks in a row, all of that preparation work. Now it's time to do it. When you know there is that thing that you want to let go of, now is the time to let go of it. I know you'd normally say that new moons are good for letting go and full moons are about completion. And that's what I'm talking about, the completion of the letting go process that we have already started into motion. Now, as well as the 5-degree arc, The decans themselves are ruled by the goetic spirits, the known as the 72 demons that Solomon summoned. Although I would question whether the term demon for them is actually fair. I think it's a bit harsh, but it's what they've been known as for at least 500 years, if not more. So by day, this is ruled by the goetic spirit Berith. So, quoting from Michael Ford, in an initiatory context, Berith may be a tool in the understanding of self, including the alchemical process of turning of gold, i.e., coming into being more, strengthening your form, the fiery essence of self. Berith is proves to be a powerful goetic servitor that you can summon to guard while going through some introspective rites. Now, we've been going through these introspective processes for, well, quite some time, let's be honest. And so again, it's rubber stamping that idea of, you knew you needed to let go of this thing, time to let go, time to put your plans into action, time to be you to the best of your ability. Now, by night, it is ruled by Flauros, or as I would know him, Horus. Now, he's one of the traditional 9 demonic divinities in traditional demonolatry, and he's described as typifying the perfect balance of physical, mental, and spiritual consciousness. So there's that, again, that coming into yourself and finding the whole, being true to yourself aspect, the whole this is who I know I am, and that bit there, I don't need it anymore, it's not me anymore, let's go, because I'm going along on this new path. Now, I am excited about this full moon also because of something that happened the day before. The day before, there was a near perfect 4 points of a pentagram in the sky. So let me just bring that up for you to see. Hopefully you'll be able to see the aspect lines, because they're quite faint. Solar Fire does them in a colour I find it really hard to see. But you notice the moon, Jupiter, Uranus, and Venus, which is a beautiful selection of planets. You've got the love and value of Venus, you've got the making things bigger of Jupiter, you have that emotional, in this term, it's what do I feel strongly about, and how can I make those things that I feel are beautiful in my life bigger? How can I make those things that I value in my life bigger? And then there's Uranus, which Uranus always causes upset, but on this particular point, I think if the unexpected occurs, it could only be bringing good news. Now, by the time we come to the full moon itself, you notice that near pentagram is split up into 2 sets of 3 3-pointed pentagrams. However, the Solar Fire doesn't do aspects, or at least I can't make it do aspects, to Black Moon Lilith. So we have Mars, Moon, and Black Moon Lilith taking action to heal hurt feelings, is how I'm reading that, and how I would want to read that. Bear in mind that Mars at the moment is being ruled by the goetic spirit Beleth, who is there's a certain sense of Beleth plays with time. There's a certain sense of immediacy here, but it's almost like you can take this energy and pocket it for a short while. And then the final three-pointed pentagram is again Venus, Uranus, Jupiter. So something unexpected about that which you value and can be made bigger, which I think is still beautiful, but especially coming off of that pentagram the day before. Now, I'm also very excited about this because the final point of that pentagram would be pretty much 4, 5, 6 degrees Libra. Guess whose moon is at 6 degrees Libra? So I am looking to take full advantage of such a beautiful astrological combination. Now let's just have a look before I go into the cards, because I got told off on comments about a long introduction to another reading that I did. So I don't want to waffle for too long, but the symbols of 3 degrees Capricorn and this full moon are also very interesting. I remember what really grabbed my attention is the Kosminski degree symbol, which is of Persephone rising gracefully from beneath to the upper world. The sun is shining and the surrounding country is rich in fields of corn, fruit, birds, flowers, whilst butterflies are sporting round her head. Now, I suppose according to the legend, that would not be directly true because spring doesn't start until Persephone comes up and Ceres or Demeter goes, you're back, and starts letting things happen. But it is still a beautiful image. So this is said to denote one of great power of endurance who forces himself, ill or well, to brush away obstacles in the way of his desires. What was I saying about letting things go? There is here a combination of mental, moral, and physical force, bringing us back to the idea of that rulership of Hares. A trinity which carries the native through danger and conditions most adverse. At birth, the soul is rising from the shadows, and as life advances, the temples of enchanting lights are reached, and constancy begets deathlessness. It is a symbol of perseverance. So if you haven't started your 2021 plans, your post 2020, post eclipse, post great conjunction plans, get moving. Now is the start. So let's have a look at the Sapharial degree symbol, which is of a Vestal lamp burning brightly, an indication of an elevated and superior mind given to the study of things that are essentially spiritual. There's that other part of Hare's dominion here. There are aspiration and intuition in a superior degree. That's not easy to say. And such a one will probably seek and find in the silence of his own chamber the key to many of the higher mysteries of life and thought. So again, it's that looking internally, expressing externally. As within, so without. This is, do not let this full moon energies go to waste. Now, the Chandra symbol, or the inside degree symbol, is more curious, but I really like it because you will hear all the New Agers, and I get very bored with the New Agers, and with the New Age, sorry. That's not the New Agers, the New Age, because it's, we're living in such a special time. We are always living in such a special time. If you are living, it is a special time. Certainly for you and to a point globally, but we cannot deny there's big global things going on. So we have all been training for this moment. So Capricorn 4, the 4th degree of Capricorn, i.e. 3 degrees Capricorn. The Chandra symbol is footprints in the snow. And it's talking about how you were following your own footsteps. In the last previous lifetime, you set into motion a very full karmic momentum, which only got to midstream. This time, you first recapitulate the previous patterns and then set out where they lead. All of it, every step feels fated, inevitable. It is an uncannily strong inward impression. Yet, in order to permit the soul of this lifetime some measure of autonomy and freedom, this knowledge is held in the superconscious mind, and you can then cast about as though nothing had happened before, if you want, except that the inward instincts direct you in a predetermined course. And the lessons and the scenes are so very familiar. So blah, 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 when the individual karma is this strong. But we know this. I mean, let's be honest. If you're watching one of my readings and watching tarot readings on YouTube and all the other stuff, we know that we have practiced for this. And even if you accept like Dolores Cannon's 3 Waves of Volunteers, we have been practicing for this. And the now this is the Omega symbol, I think. As a cliff erodes, a temple is in danger of collapsing. Now, okay, there's a tower imagery, tower card imagery there, but there's also what it also talks about that Saturn-Uranus square we've got going on. The description to this says it needs change. And when they do, structures that may have depended on a long time, that may have been depended on for a long time, need to change as well to meet these new needs. That's it, needs change. Right, that makes sense. This is what this degree is aware of. It taps into the undercurrents of feeling and can see how those things are eroding the landscape of human thought. At its best, it's capable of suggesting means of change that take into the account the long range and which are practical. And again, we have practiced for this. Can you tell I'm really excited about this? I never thought I'd be excited about a Capricorn thing, but when you look, everything that Capricorn threw at us last year, the Jupiter-Pluto conjunctions, the building up to the great conjunction with the Saturn-Pluto conjunction, various other things, eclipses last year and all that. This is beautiful. This is Pluto, who's there in Capricorn, going, okay, here is the end of it. Now, bear in mind, this full moon is a long, long away from Pluto. Pluto's at 26 degrees. The full moon's at 3 degrees. So it's co-present by sign. But Pluto's allowed everything to come full circle. And it's almost like he stepped to one side and said, there you go. I've done my work now. You crack on with starting the new things. And I will just check your work as you go past. But everything will be fine. Don't worry. You crack on with it. And so that's what I want to say with this full moon. Whatever it is, you crack on with it. There's all this creative energy around with Venus quintile Uranus, Venus quintile Jupiter. There's all this healing energy around with the quintiles between the moon, Mars and Lilith. There's that, especially if you've got early degrees of Libra planets, there's that energy from the pentagram the day before. This cannot be a bad thing if you take advantage of it, but you take advantage of it with self-knowledge. You take advantage of it after having really dug down on the inside and saying, is this what I want? Is this a bit of me I still want to be? What do I need to let go of? And let's already make sure that this full moon is the final letting go of those things. They will come back again. Of course they will. They will come back again for you to be able to walk straight past them and say, no, I've let go, I don't care. Because that's how it works. You know, they so when all these things that you've let go of pop their head up again in like 1, 2, 3 months, years time, it is there to say, huh, have you let go? Really? And if you use this full moon energy right, the answer is a resounding yes. Yes, I have. Now, this is before I've done the show with David, so that's how I'm reading the full moon, purely on the basis of the angels and the demons that are involved here, and some of the aspects, but minor aspects. We'll see what David makes of it. In the meantime, I'll bring your cards up in a second. If you want a personal reading, don't forget that Facebook link. Please feel free to share the video because it helps, and press the like button because it helps YouTube notice I exist, which I'm not sure it has yet, really. In the meantime, yeah, let me bring up the cards. Okay, Scorpio, as was mentioned in the introduction, this top row is the masks that the archons are wearing as they try to keep you separate from your divine purpose, reality, higher self, however you want to look at it. And this bottom row are the gods that are trying to lift you up. Now, as you can see, plenty of cards wanted to fly out on the archontic side and on the divine side here. So, to go through the archontic masks, we have Hades with death, Garuda with travel, and Lu with skill, Gaia, the mother, Kali with fear, Eos with new dawn, Isis with resurrection. So I drew a card from the Isis Oracle, even though that's the Archon. And then the gods supporting you, Ganesha, Prometheus, Ixchel, Andromache, Hera, and Uzume. Now, the story that this is telling me is, well, first I want to talk about the Libra reading that I just did. And the Libra reading have some form of inevitable change that they're just going to have to deal with, full stop. There's no point in getting angry about it. They need to just deal with it. And the same sort of thing seems to be happening here. On your side, we have Ganesha with obstacles. Ganesha putting obstacles in your path to not even to divert you, to improve you. But how you approach these obstacles is quite an interesting tale, because going by the archons arraigned against it, you can't go round it, you can't take it to bits through the power of your own skill, and you're not to kill it or destroy it. What the gods level is saying is that you have to find your own personal fire and ingenuity, and actually you have to sacrifice something, give up on something in order to negotiate this obstacle, or more to the point, integrate this obstacle. You have the strength to take this obstacle on board. That's what Andromache is telling me. And that this obstacle will eventually bring a good harvest to you. A good, this obstacle is actually a good thing. It's not something to be scared of. It's not something that you can use to create a new day that brings around something from a long, long time ago. But also we have Hera with relating and Uzume with persuasion. You have to give up on something, you have to sacrifice something, and you have to do this in concert with other people. It's almost as if you are here as a role of, I'm not going to say peacemaker or negotiator or anything like that, because I don't see that here. Although it's possible with Uzume and Hera, but I do see that you need to be a team worker. You need to be joining with people and encouraging whatever this ingenious sacrifice is. Now, people get scared of the word sacrifice. I don't think it's something major. It may be we give up on water from that side so we can get water from that side. Do you know what I mean? There's something there's a trade-off going on here, a trade-off where you are not compromising yourself, because from the Isis Oracle, I've got, so here, when Isis arrives as an archontic mask, this card is to oppose whatever Isis is saying here. And here Isis is saying, the archontic mask of Isis is saying resurrection. It's bringing something around. This is saying stay true and be in your power. It is both Osiris and Isis, the Lord and Lady of divine authority. So by this sacrifice, you are keeping control of your own authority. Whatever this destroying the obstacle, going around the obstacle, or unpicking the obstacle using current methods, that, I feel that all of those actions feel icky. They feel like you are compromising yourself somehow. Whereas accepting the obstacle and giving something up in order to benefit from the obstacle is far much more you staying in your own power, being true to yourself, and joining with others in quite a fertile fashion. Now, what is interesting is from the Oracle of Heaven and Hell, we got Mehiel with restoration of life, which is very similar to that idea of resurrection. However, I'm not feeling that they're talking about the same things. It's almost with Prometheus gives you fire. That act of sacrifice will give you fire. So by making that sacrifice, whatever it is, frees you up. You feel more powerful. You feel life coming back into you. Whereas all these initial ways of dealing with this obstacle, all the ones that are just a little bit icky, they're more like it's beating a dead horse, and believing that there's this, we need this new day without the obstacle. It's not going to happen. This is what I'm feeling here, and this is where, in a way, the gods are being quite contrary. They have their plan, and we're not necessarily going to be able to see it. But this, oh my God, we've got to get rid of this obstacle and have a new day without it and bring things back to like they were. Nah, not going to happen. It's really not going to happen. And I'm going to have to pull the tarot because I'm trying to figure out. So the sacrifice may be some form of commitment that you've made as well, because all those three ways of dealing with the issue are clarified by the Four of Wands there. So we've got it feels overwhelming. Whatever this is, it feels overwhelming when it turns up. The obstacle itself and the drive to, it's almost like there's a lie saying, well, if you really care, you would destroy it, unpick it, travel around it. But it is right to actually be scared of this obstacle. That's fine. That's okay. It deserves that level of respect. But I don't believe that. Right, yes. So what you're sacrificing is an intention. It's a dream of some form that you was going to go ahead. And I think it's getting replaced by a, dare I be as cheeky as to say, a better one, or a more practical one. Yes, Six of Wands with Prometheus here. So you have that sense of sacrifice brings a victory. That sense of giving up on some idea it causes, right, it causes the end, the death of this obstacle being an obstacle. You are turning the obstacle into something useful rather than something that has to be avoided, something that has to be feared. Um, Absolutely, you need to respect it. It is part of the new way, whatever the new way is going to be with you. And that resurrection with Isis, clarified by the Two of Pentacles, it's now that obstacle is here. Balance, the old balance, is not going to get resurrected. So, although it might be quite stressful trying to get people on your side with this idea. Nine of Swords here, but I love this particular Nine of Swords because it really makes me think of truths being revealed, harsh truths being revealed. They're the source of the fear, the source of the anxiety, the source of the more shadow side stuff that's out there that we can very, very easily ignore. And also, that is very much related to how you are interacting with others. So it's almost like there's a lot of harsh truths coming out about how you feel about others and possibly how they feel about you. Not that that's any of your business, because you just need to worry about how you feel. And that might be part of the lesson here. Might be, if I haven't got your approval, oh well. But there's a lot of debates where I think you have the opportunity of winning people over to your side. That's the best way. Five of Wands here with Uzume. I'm seeing Uzume as the more powerful card of the two. So that Five of Wands is saying that there is debate, sometimes contentious, but there is debate that you are able to gain people onto your side, gain people onto your way of doing things. And this way of doing things is the integrating of the obstacle rather than just trying to destroy it and get rid of it and almost, do a more realistic version of la 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 not listening. It's no, you have to listen to this thing. It deserves respect. You're right to be in fear of it ish, but not for long. That fear is like, okay, if that falls, it's going to flatten me. What can I do so that it doesn't fall? Or because sending a missile at it's just going to make it fall, and then it'll flatten me. That's why the normal solutions don't count. You're thrust into this diplomatic, almost campaigning role to get people on your side. But you just have to make sure that, be careful with your actions, that all of them are actions that you are happy with at the end of the day. And I don't mean at the end of the day as in after all the situation has been dealt with. I mean every single night. You do not want to be going to bed going, oh, I wish I hadn't have done that, or I felt really uncomfortable about doing that. It's you want to be going to bed with the, you know what, I did the best that I could, and let's see what tomorrow brings. Because this obstacle that's here does seem to be quite a big one. But it's for your betterment. It's for your improving. I can't think of the right word. Improvement. So, if that means anything to you, Scorpio, good luck. If it means anything to you, comment down below. It's always nice to know if these readings get to the ears of the people that it's useful for. But let's be honest, if it's not happened yet, you're not going to know if it means out to you or not, are you? But do all that good YouTube stuff, like, share, subscribe, go watch your moon and your rising. And also there's a link down below, or there will be, for the astrology show that I am doing later with David. All right. Cheers.